what Mum did. Now that I've got kids of my own, I can't believe how she did it. It's amazing job keeping 4 kids alive out here in the middle of the bush.
I don't remember doing school in those days. I just remember playing all the time. We just always really got along. We didn't really have other friends except for when we went to town. I think that's why we are the way we are now.
Here and then down into our schoolrooms. That's where we did School of the Air.
Someone had tipped us off that there was going to be a program on live export with some pretty bad footage on Four Corners. We went over to Mum and Dad's house into the lounge room and watched it. And I remember it was devastating to watch. We were all very upset to see the way that they had been treated, and to think that possibly that could have been our cattle, ones that we had handled. It was heartbreaking.
I was very worried about the future of the farm. Not only would we lose our family home, family business, but I'd be left high and dry as well. So.
And then when the actual ban came in, I just remember Dad saying, we obviously won't sell cattle, but we're just going to continue. We're going to muster and we're going to continue on as we normally would have.
We were left in the lurch quite a lot. There was no end date given, there was just a ban. It was open-ended. They didn't say how long it was going to last, when it was going to finish. Businesses can't run like that.
So my family bought Kalyeeda in '96, and when we bought it there was nothing here, no fences, no cattle, no homestead. So we were just living in a caravan to start off with.
We had one caravan parked up, must have been around where Camille's standing there now, kitchen caravan.
Yeah.
Had a campfire over there somewhere, and another caravan here somewhere in the shade of the tree, and a little 2-man caravan, and that's what we lived in. All 6 of us. It was a bit cramped at times.
Yeah, it was pretty rough, but we were kids, so it didn't bother us at all. We loved it.
First couple of years we were here, we slowly built up. We sort of stayed in the caravan the first year, then we were sort of camped on a concrete slab for a while, and then we built up the shed to a point where we could actually have beds inside, which is a real luxury.
So when we were here, there was a wall along this side here, and our schoolroom was in that last section, and then the rest we had, the 6 of us had beds. No aircon or anything. There wasn't lights either, was there?
No lights, no aircon, no insulation.
And for some reason our schoolroom wasn't cemented either. This part here I think wasn't it?
Yeah, I think we only got through half the cement, and then
Yeah, so our schoolroom was like dirt.
Dirt for a while, and then the following year I think
we used to have to clean up the dirt to make sure the schoolroom was all tidy.
The first few years was quite rural, I suppose, but it was a great adventure for us. Us kids loved it. It wasn't hardship for us at all. I'm sure it was hard on Mum and Dad trying to work and look after kids in that sort of environment, but it was a great time for us. We thought it was the best thing in the world. Living so closely together. When you're in a house, I suppose you can go and have your own space in your own room or something like that. Well, we didn't have rooms. We had our swags and our beds, and that was it. We're all in one big group. So I think it's certainly made us very close.
So about 5 years after my parents bought Kalyeeda, they then bought another station on the Gibb River Road called Charnley River.
So that was in a similar condition to Kalyeeda was when we built it. It was, again, pretty low on infrastructure and pretty low on cattle. We were between the two properties a lot. They were 7 hours apart.
So by 2010, Charnley River and Kalyeeda, we'd gotten them both to a stage where they were quite well developed, but it was becoming too much for us as a family, and Dad in particular, to manage both of them. So we decided to sell one of them.
So we sold Charnley River in 2011. Had a bit of extra money for once, so we went out and bought some nice trucks and things like that to sort of make life working on the land a bit nicer. Bought a couple of horses to supplement our herd, and shortly after that was when we all sat down and watched the report on the live export trade in Indonesia. It made us feel horrible to think that could have been our animals on the floor, and you know, there's a good possibility that some of ours would have over the years. If that was a practice at the time, might have been those ones as well. So yeah, it's pretty heartbreaking. We'd sort of certainly been led to believe that, I feel like we've been led to believe that it was much better than it was. We didn't expect that to be going on. I suppose we were quite ignorant of our own industry, and I think since then we've been making a big investment in time to make sure that this doesn't happen again. So after the live export ban, my wife Barbara and a group of other women decided that they wanted to go across and see what was going on over there for themselves. So a few months later, they went over there. They visited feedlots, they visited meatworks, they visited wet markets, orphanages, people's homes, all sorts of places. They had a really good look around, not just to see what our cattle were and what our cattle were doing over there, but the actual lifestyle that the people of Indonesia led and how our beef affected their lives. The women that went over there decided that we really needed to start to share our story and tell other people where we were coming from and what our lives were actually about, to show them that we're not bad people, we're just people trying to live our lives out on it, and what an awesome lifestyle we have out here.
A lot of people in the industry had started to realise that our social licence is pretty bad. Like we don't have the best name for what we do in the live export industry. So I decided to do something about it for us as a business, as a pastoralist business. So I set up a Facebook page for the station, and then I was also doing my own Instagram, and that actually just started as me posting pictures of what we do out here, just as anyone would do, like a normal personal Instagram page. But it was getting a lot of attention. People actually liked to see that, and they really appreciated me showing what we do out here. So I thought, okay, this is obviously what people want to see. Like, obviously there's not that much out there on what people actually do on stations. It's either very romanticised or it's negative. So it'd be nice to actually have the truth of what we do. And I think being transparent is what's going to help the industry. It's what we need. And I've only ever had good things come out of sharing my stories.
Another part of the 2011 livestock ban was our decision to change from pure Brahman herd to a Droughtmaster herd. The Brahmans are very much a live export animal. They're not suited to the southern markets, the internal markets in Australia. So in 2011 we actually bought our first mob of Droughtmaster bulls and have been buying Droughtmaster bulls ever since. I think in 2016 we got rid of our last Brahman bull and have been full Droughtmaster ever since then. So the Droughtmaster's a step forward to try and secure our cattle market, whether it's live export, which they are still highly sought after, or we can sell into internal markets if we need to.
And then last year I applied for a Nuffield scholarship and I managed to get one. And so I'm going to be doing my Nuffield scholarship on live export in the northern beef industry, and just researching how sustainable it is and what we can do to make it more sustainable, and if it's not sustainable, what we can do with our pastoral stations and our cattle instead of live export.
I've seldom met someone with as much energy or drive as Camille has. She's up at 3:30 every day and goes for a run or a bike ride every morning. Her self-discipline is just so, it's as high as I've seen, yeah. And yet she has this beautiful glowing femininity that she can hold in the dustiest cattle yards. It's beautiful to work alongside, that's for sure.
So in 2019, I joined a group called the Young Livestock Exporters Network. And then from that, I met a lot of women who work as onboard stock women, because originally I hadn't thought it was a job that women do. And so I was inspired to actually get my qualifications and jump on a few boats. And the motivation behind that was to actually see the journey that our cattle go on after they leave our shores.
I think the industry is definitely more proactive now than it was. Yeah, it's we all got a bit of a slap in the face in 2011, and I think we've realised that we need to do something about it. We can't just, brush it under the carpet.
So I feel really positive about the future. We've got a baby due in October, and what I would love is to be able to bring that baby up here at Kalyeeda with its grandparents and his little cousins just down the road.
I'm proud to call myself a cattleman. I love the animals and love the lifestyle. You gotta love where you live, and we really do.